Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be learning something new under the heading Commercial Mathematics. We'll first revise about interest, then simple interest, and then we'll get introduced to the new topic known as compound interest. So the word interest comes from the Latin word intres, which means compensation for loss. Now, how does this get linked? It was thought that since it was a loss to a person, for example, X is the person who is going to lend money to Y, so X could have used that money. So it's a loss that for a certain period of time X could have used money, but he has lended it to person Y. So it's a loss for X. Hence, Y should pay some compensation for that loss. And hence, this terminology came into existence. So, the compensation for the loss to X for that period of time is called as interest. So, for an example, consider that the amount borrowed by Y from X is this. For a certain period of time, Y uses that money, and then while returning, he has to return that amount as well as an additional amount, which is nothing but called as interest. So this additional amount paid by the borrower to the lender is called as interest, or you can also say the additional amount collected by the lender for lending money to the borrower. That is called as interest. Interest is mainly divided into two types: simple interest and compound interest. We are going to get introduced to compound interest today. Let us first revise what is simple interest. In simple interest, if this is supposed to be my principal amount, which is borrowed from, so the principal amount remains same throughout the period. For example, if a person has borrowed some money, that the interest will be charged for that principal amount only, for the amount of time he or she keeps the principal. So principal remains same. This causes the interest which is paid by the borrower or earned by the lender to be same throughout. For every year, the interest which the lender collects or the borrower pays remains the same every year. Whereas in compound interest, suppose the principal amount is this again, for the second year, the next principal amount is nothing but the interest earned on it. So interest plus previous principal, or the new principal for the second year will be interest of the first year plus the basic principal which was borrowed. So consider for the second year, the next amount of interest will be this much. So next will be new principal which has this interest as well as the previous principal amount. So the new interest will be charged on this whole new principal. As we solve more examples, we'll be learning more about compound interest in detail. The formula for calculating simple interest is I is equal to P R T upon 100, where I is the interest, T is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest, T is the time duration in years, for how many years the amount was borrowed, and divide by 100. This is the formula for interest. and we'll see how we find the compound interest on a certain principal amount. There are different ways the banks or the financial institutions calculate compound interest. One is that is compounded annually. The other is compounded half yearly, and the third is compounded quarter yearly. In the scope of our syllabus, we have this type. So we are going to focus on compound interest which are compounded annually. Now let us solve one problem based on simple interest, and then we'll solve the same problem for compound interest, and that's how we'll derive the difference between the calculations of simple interest and compound interest. So let's begin the solution of this. We are dealing with simple interest on a sum of rupees 8,000. So principal amount is rupees 8,000. Rate of interest is 5% per annum, and time period is 3 years. So always remember, there is a very straightforward and simple formula for simple interest. Simple interest is equal to P into R into T upon 100. So P is 8,000, multiplied by rate is 5, multiplied by time period is 3 years, divided by 100. We simplify it, we get 5 it's a 40, 0 into 3 and 1200, or we can call it as 1200 is the simple interest on the sum 8,000 for a tenure of 3 years. You're supposed to write the answer statement like that at the end. So this was the simple interest on this sum for 3 years at a rate of 5%. Now let us see if I make this simple interest to compound interest. How does this method of calculation change? What is the concept difference between compound interest and simple interest? So if I want, I'll just write this amount, that the amount of interest that I received as simple interest was rupees 1,200. This was simple interest. For now we'll calculate compound interest for the same principal amount, for the same tenure, and at the same rate. How it will differ in the calculation and what will be the final outcome of the compound interest. Now, if you must have paid attention when I was differentiating between simple interest and compound interest, it was mentioned clearly that in simple interest the principal remains same for all the years. That means first year the principal will be same, second year the principal will be P only, third year the principal will be P only. But in compound interest, my first year the principal remains P1, second year the principal changes to P2, third year the principal changes to P3. How does it differ, or what makes it change? Now after the first year I will get some interest I1 on this principal, first principal. For the second year the principal P2 will be P1 plus I1. So now this is my total P2 principal for the second year, which will yield me the interest E2 by calculation of that formula. Using formula, I'll get interest on the sum of the principal and interest for first year. I'll get interest I2 for the second year. Now for the third year, how will it change? The previously was P2 plus, now this interest gets added over here, I2. Now my principal for the third year is not the same as the first year. Again, not the same as the second year also. So the principal for the third year is nothing but the principal for the second year plus the interest yield on the principal of the second year. So P2 plus I2 will give me the principal for the third year, and interest for the third year will be calculated, which will give me I3. So the interest obtained by the method of calculation of compound interest at the end of 3 years on the principal P1, initial principal, will be the sum of these three interests. Whereas if this would have been compound simple interest, I would have received same interest every year, because the principal remains same every year. Hence it would be 3 times the same interest that we are going to get each year. Whereas compound interest, since the principal changes every ongoing year, my interest on that principal also increases with my increase in the principal. Hence you may also witness that in banks, when you keep your money for FD, the amount that you earn on those FDs are more than what you keep in your regular accounts, because FDs compound interest are yielded on FD amounts. Let's move ahead for calculation of compound interest. So P1 is my interest of first year. So interest at the end of first year will be I1, which will be given by P1 R. T, as we are calculating for every year, T will be 1 year. So whether I write or I don't write, any number multiplied by 1 will give me that number itself. So interest at the end of first year will be I1, that is nothing but P1 into R. Rate of interest remains same throughout. So P1 is 8000 multiplied by 5 upon 100. So 400 rupees is the interest at the end of first year. So principal P2 for second year, as I mentioned while explaining before, will be the sum of P1, and this interest gets added to it. So P1 plus I1. Therefore my new principal for second year will be 8,000 plus this interest which gets added to the principal for the calculation of interest for the second year. So this is my P2. Again, interest at the end of second year will be I2, calculated by the same old formula, P2 into R upon 100, which gives you principal is now, in the previous first year principal was 8,000, in the second year the principal becomes the amount of the principal and interest. So 8,400 into 5 upon 100, and this gives me 420. Now principal for the third year will be obviously P2 plus my interest gained on the principal P2, that is I2, and when you add these we get 8,820. So this is my principal for the third year, and since we are supposed to calculate for 3 years, this will be the last time I am calculating interest. So interest at the end of third year is equal to I3, which should be P3 multiplied by R upon 100. Just make a note that I am not multiplying by T again and again, as T is 1 year. So P3 is 8820 multiplied by 5 upon 100, which should give me rupees 441. So we have I1, we have I2, and we have I3. So the total interest gained on the same amount, that is 8,000, for 3 years for the same time period and having the same rate, but the calculation was done based on the method of compound interest. It will be I1, so total interest will be nothing but compound interest, I1 plus I2 plus I3, which is nothing but 400 plus 420 plus 441. So addition gives me 1261. So if you compare the difference in the amount earned on simple interest and compound interest, this is the reason why my compound interest differs than simple interest. So revising what we have studied, in simple interest the principal amount remains same for the first year, second year and third year, or for no matter how many years, but the principal amount remains same through the next years. Whereas in compound interest, after the end of the first year, the principal gets changed. It becomes the amount sum of first year principal and the interest earned at the end of first year. So the principal for the second year will be nothing but principal of the first year plus interest of the first year. So after calculating interest for the second year, that is I2 is equal to P2 into R upon 100 equals to 8400 into 5 upon 100 will give me 420. Obviously when the principal increases, my interest also increases. That interest again will get added to my P2 and the principal will increase even further. Now this principal increases, hence the interest for the third year will again increase. So this becomes a chain reaction that after every year my interest increases. So the sum of all these interests at the end of the tenure, 3 years tenure, so at the end of the tenure 3 years, my interest becomes 1261 by method of compound interest, whereas by method of simple interest it will only remain 1200. Now let us solve one more sum using same method. The question states, find the amount on a sum of rupees 5,000 for 2 years at the rate of 8% per annum compounded annually. So we are supposed to find the compound interest on the sum of rupees 5,000. So principal amount for first year is equal to rupees 5,000. The rate of interest R is 8% per annum. This is percent per annum. You may also write by this notation, percent per annum. Time period is, as we are finding compound interest, we will be having two steps. So first at the end of first year, second at the end of second year, because the total tenure is 2 years. Now, so interest, since we are doing with the same method, interest at the end of first year will be nothing but P1 R upon 100, which gives me 5000 multiplied by 8 upon 100. So the interest at the end of first year is rupees 400. Now as we have learned, for the second year principal will be different, that is initial principal plus this interest gets added to the initial principal. So P2, the principal for the second year, becomes 5000 plus 400, which is nothing but 5400. So now for the second year, when I calculate the compound interest or the interest, it will be I2, interest at the end of second year will be P2 into R upon 100, which is nothing but 5400, that is 5400 multiplied by 8 upon 100. So 432. Now the question is, find the amount on a sum of rupees 5000. Always remember, amount is nothing but the total interest plus the initial principal, or the last principal plus the last interest. That means P2 plus I2, which will give me rupees 5832, 5400 plus 432. So this becomes my amount at the end of second year. There is one more way to find the amount, which is nothing but addition of all the interests. If it is for third year also, so add all the 3 years interest and add it with the initial principal. So P1 plus I1 plus I2, which is nothing but 5000 plus 400 plus 432, which again gives me 5832. So both the methods can be used, or else the simplest one can be the last year's principal amount and the last year's interest. So the total amount on a sum of rupees 5000 for 2 years at the rate of 8 PCPA compounded annually. So the amount that will yield me 5000 rupees at the end of 2 years at this rate will be 5832. Basically we go for this method as it is very easy. Last principal plus last interest, P2 plus I2, will give me the final amount. Since it was only for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, the method seems to be very much tedious when the year or the tenure of the whole interest will be more than that. Hence, we will have to find a simple solution to this. Rather than adding the interest of every year individually, we will derive a formula which will be one shot and will give you the final amount yielded at the end of the tenure, no matter how long the tenure in years will be. So that derivation of new formula we'll be doing in the next video. Till then, stay safe, stay fit. Thank you.